This is the triple effect. The triple effect is based on our life balance and laws that govern the seen and unseen. These universal laws are interpreted as three: do, say, and feel. The triple effect. As in the understanding of human engagement or interaction, we must assess the three to connect and find balance. We will explore universal laws that affect us all, one way or another, and they are all around us. Our show is centered around the theme of balance and polarity in order for us to make and keep connections, which, if done with the right energy, will elevate our being to attain our highest capabilities. Please join the conversation. All right. Hey, this is Rashid Hill, and this is the triple effect. Tonight, I welcome everyone. I appreciate you chiming in, coming in, taking some time out of your lovely evening to be with us today. Tonight, I have an exciting episode of the triple effect. The triple effect is in full effect. What is the triple effect? The triple effect is a broadcast that has amazing interviews with intelligent conversation with awesome people in the local community, and we're going to expand this as far out as we can. So if there's anyone out there that is interested in being on the triple effect and want to talk a little bit about what you're doing to impact your community, please get in touch with me on this particular channel, by email, via Instagram, any social media. You can easily find me because this particular broadcast will be posting up on Facebook and some of the other social media channels. So without further ado, I would like to talk a little bit about what we're trying to do, what the goal is, what our aim is for the triple effect. For this particular broadcast, we want to get the word out and let everybody know that there are quality people doing amazing things throughout the local community that's affecting and impacting people across the globe. Sometimes we do so much work within our own circle that we don't know that people actually are being impacted that we don't even see. But we may somewhere down the road get some comments or get some feedback, which helps us to understand that what we're doing is valuable, is important, and it must continue. Because every day that we speak, we are impacting someone positively or negatively. And so with the theme of this particular broadcast called The Ripple Effect, it's based on the law of balance and polarity. I'm your host, Rashid Hill. I'm a strategic intervention specialist and a personal development coach with the main focus on emotional intelligence. I'm a published author of the book 8 Ways to Be 10 Times Better and a contributing writer for the Life by Design Entrepreneur magazine. I'm the founder of L3 Coaching Solutions and the creator of the Hero Coaching Model. High excellence results option is the only option. I help people unlock their true potential in order to pursue their desired lifestyle. Tonight's episode is a continuation of sorts of our initial episode, our premiere episode, where we did get involved with a very powerful and informative conversation about a local community leader, an organization that is doing great things. It is taking the community and giving it and infusing in it empowerment and literacy that is long overdue. Partnering with other organizations in the community, but making a name for itself. That organization is We Will Rise. And I am so proud to introduce our guest tonight that is a valuable member as well as co-founder and vice president of this group. Before I actually turn it over to him so he can do justice himself, I want to say a little bit to get this kicked off. The show tonight is part 2 of a series about the law of balance with extended EQ or emotional intelligence. This is the theme of the triple effect. But the episode tonight, we'll talk a little bit more about community engagement, real life skills, and things that are more tangible for the community and the individuals that are listening or being impacted by that. I know that our audience came to hear from our guests, so I will not go too deep into our topic until later on in the show. Our guest tonight, a good friend of mine, is someone that has latched on to his vision and is determined to see it come into reality. I am very excited to have this gentleman on to talk to as well as learn from. Tonight on part 2, episode 2 of The Triple Effect, I will love to welcome and help me to welcome our guest, Mr. Gary Harris. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you, Rashid. Thank you. How are you doing tonight? How are you doing?
Man, it's a great day.
Good. Thank you. Glad to be here with you.
Excellent. So one of the things that I wanted to make sure that people understand is why I actually invited you on the show. Because without them really understanding the depth of We Will Rise and your significant role in that, and we definitely want them to hear your story behind it and how you and your good friend came up with that particular organization, and how, after these years, you have attracted so many great young men in the community to help you with your vision. One of the things that I want to highlight is, other than Mr. Gary Harris being the co-founder and VP of We Will Rise, this community that empowers youth, empowers adults, empowers everyone to elevate themselves and to take a stand to help contribute to positive impact in the community. He is also a facilitator for the Real Life Skills program, and he is an up-and-coming entrepreneur in Southern California. Now, we definitely want to hit on every one of those points, because I'm really impressed with just the fact that from the time that, we met early on to this day, you've done so many things that have been in connection with your vision. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of people, and I always talk about this in different talks and on different platforms, when I talk about goals, there's a statistic that says 92% of people that write down and plan and initiate these goals every year, 92% of them fail, but 8% actually succeed. So why focus on the 92%? Let's focus on the 8%. And I consider you amongst the 8% because you're not just talking about it. You're not just saying, well, you know what, I got this idea and I'm going to put it over here on the shelf and hope that it happens. No, you're doing it and you're making it happen. And I'm glad to be a part of that. So I would love for you to give us, a little bit about who Gary is and kind of what got Gary started and what's your motivation?
Wow. Thank you. First, that was a pretty amazing intro. So I appreciate that. That really made me feel good. But who is Gary? So the Gary now that people meet and people see is not the Gary from the past. Without getting too deep in the past, I was, not too motivated in myself. I really was just on the hinge of life. I really had no goals, no motivation. And then I got caught up in the drug culture. So after I went through a hard time and overcame that, it was now, what do I do in life? I met a couple different people that pointed me in the right direction. Your guest on the first show, Mr. Mike Love, my best friend, he's always been there for me, through my ups and downs. When he was off in college and doing his great things, he was always inviting me to different events. He also talked about the other Mike Love, which is a former teacher of mine, and his support kind of, pushed me through. Yeah. And, you talked about We Will Rise and what idea got it started. And I know Mike Love talked about it in the first show a little bit about us doing a fishbowl segment in his college class it was geared to give students an open space to speak out.
Okay.
So when he invited me to do that, Mike's thinking like, okay, Gary, you're ready. Like, let's go do this. So we do it, and I'm sitting in the classroom like, this is hitting me really deep. This is like, wow, people are opening up. Before we started the class, we kind of had this like Vegas rule, which was whatever happens in here stays here. Whatever said is in here. Yeah. So, long story short, after that class, it had hit me, and I was like, Mike, we have to do this more. We have to get this out to people, and especially Black men, because that was important. Growing up with Black men, Black friends, it was like a lot of us are suffering. So We Will Rise, it was like, we want to do something, so let's do it.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. And I want you to kind of give your perspective apart from, Mike's story, because definitely understand that. And I think, like you said, you guys being best friends and coming through this together, then yeah, absolutely. The story is definitely going to be very, very common, but it's different through each of your eyes. And I think it's important for the audience to know kind of, hey, what are you seeing versus what he's seeing, and benefiting from both. So I think there's a benefit in that. So not a problem with, expanding on that. But that was interesting. Like you said, so like Vegas, what happens in here stays in here. Feel free to let it out. But people need that. And I think that's very important. And so that's why I love, or I kind of thought about the theme of, there's so many different laws, universal laws that we're governed by that are seen and unseen. And the law of balance and polarity is key in that. And so when you talk about you guys coming together and you're in that environment and the way you felt about it, then we're always looking for a balance. We fall out of balance, and then we have to figure out, how do we get back to center? How do we find those core values that drive us, which kind of leads me into the next question of, what are three core values that you live by, that are ideas or just things that you believe, hey, this is who I am, this is why I wake up in the morning, and these are the things that drive me. What are those three things that you can tell our audience that are your core values?
Wow, core values. The three things, I don't know if they exactly fit into core values, but three things I kind of live by is faith, family, and peace.
Nice.
And when I say faith, I don't mean like spiritually or, religiously. Okay. I mean like more of having faith in yourself and faith in things that you do. Especially for me, a lot of things could be nerve-wracking, but it's like I just have to, jump out and do it. And that's kind of having faith in myself, to do those things.
Yeah.
Family is not just blood. It's, the people you meet throughout life that you connect with. Like I consider We Will Rise a family. I consider my friends that I grew up with in high school family. Yeah. I consider, other people that have connected with me, they're family. So I think always remembering to embrace your family, love your family, spend time, that's important. And peace, that's, I guess that's a word in itself, but it's, having a peaceful mind and trying to bring calmness to yourself is very important.
Wow. No, I like that, because like you said, with, like I said, faith, family, and peace, because that's something that even in my book, 8 Ways to Be 10 Times Better, I have a segment in there about spirituality, and I talk a little bit about faith. And the first thing I say is, if you're thinking about religion, then you're absolutely wrong. It's not about a standard practice or a standard set of rituals. It's about, how do you feel and what's your connection with, the universal power that gets you over that hump, gets you to the next step, and that's formed in the way that you understand it. So it's personal, but it's visible, because we see the results of that. And that's why I say, I'm moved, because I understand, just having conversations with you and being there to witness the growth that you committed yourself to, and there's a lot of times that I was like, man, I can't get up. I can't do this. I want to do that, but I never, get past the first step because I'm afraid of failing. And then I see you and I'm like, man, my man is taking the bull by the horns and saying, hey, I'm going to do it. And look, I'm doing it. And that's inspirational, man. And I really value that. And just like, I told with Mike, there's just such good energy being around you guys and in the group itself. Like you said, that's family, man. That's there's a lot of meetings I'm supposed to attend that I'm like, when I get home, I'm like, you know what? Maybe next week. When it comes to that second Thursday, hey,
yeah,
put things on hold. You know what I'm saying? Last night, I was like, it's my birthday. I could be doing, my wife was like, hey, what you want to eat? You want to go out? I'm like, sure, honey, but I got a meeting tonight with the brothers.
And we appreciate it. Yes. I was like, wow, on his 50th birthday, that's dedication and love. No, it was much appreciated. But like what you spoke on, you're right with that feeling, because it's like, to be honest, it was like my week from Monday was like, this is stressful. And going to the meeting was like, okay, this is needed.
Yeah.
And it's definitely feeling inside. Yeah, great. Definitely.
Well, that's awesome. And I believe, like I said, with a lot of the meetings and listening to, yourself and Mike and even, Mr. Love, the old Mike versus the young Mike. I mean, it's a consistent feedback that I think most of us get in the group that you guys are definitely happy with the movement of something that you started, and you see, the flower blossoming, you see the development, and the people on the outside looking in may not fully understand that we just me in my short time being here, and I'm sure you guys have been together a lot longer individually and kind of, certain guys in the group. There's a lot of groups out there. I've tried to do this in the past and didn't get past, 2 or 3 meetings, and I just couldn't sustain it. And so here we are, I'm 2 years in and you guys have been doing it a little longer. Man, that's powerful, and I'm so blessed to be part of that. So yes, audience is looking forward to hearing something other than me talk. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about something that I enjoy, and I think we all live through social media and Facebook and all that kind of interesting stuff. So you do comment about your kids, and I know you have definitely a depth of love for them kids. And and that's awesome. One thing that, and I think this is where my connection with you on that is about when my son was about 2 years old. We used to ride between Texarkana, Texas and Tyler, Texas, about a 2-hour drive when I was working in Texarkana, Texas, because I'm from Tyler, Texas. So we used to make this trip all the time. And I would always tell my wife and anybody, look, talk to him as if he's understanding everything you say. Don't talk to him in a way that he doesn't understand, like in baby talk. That doesn't make sense. So, so we would do that. And so one day we were driving, and I was always anxious. I wanted to be on time, and I'm like, oh, let's go. And so we take off, and I'm a little apprehensive, a little anxiety going on. So I'm driving, and he's sitting right behind me in his baby seat and everything. And it was quiet. And all of a sudden he said, I am patient. And I'm like, what? I said, did you hear that, honey? And I'm like, okay, what? And he says, I am patience. And I was like, now that's different. And this is, he's 9 years old now. So this was 6-7 years ago. And I remember it as if it was happening right now, because it really, so I consider children the teachers, because what he told me was, Dad, you need to be patient. I am patient. So the trial goes through him. and so it's teaching me to be more patient. And so I always value children in that way. And I'm like, what are they teaching me? And patience is 99% of what they do teach, because it is definitely nerve-wracking trying to get them to do anything you ask them to do. So with that being said, I mean, I would like tell the listeners, like, what is it that for you personally, what is it that the kids teach us? You know, in your personal experience, what do they teach us? What do they make us aware of, you know, in as adults, as parents?
Good question. Yeah, I think for me, they see things that we don't see, or that we may see but not focus on. You know, you made a comment about, like, you know, me making posts about my kids on social media, and I posted the post about my son that he made with the cell phone. You know, I was dropping him off to his mother, and I was checking my phone right before I was getting out the car. And he just made a random comment and was like, all grown-ups do is be on their phone. I think their phone is their worst enemy. So I was like, wow. I paused and was like, and the crazy thing about it is, you see videos, you see posts all the time that say, you know, we as adults, we're too sucked into our phone. That's all we do is just, you know, we're on our phone, you know, when we wake up, when we go to work, after work, as soon as we get home, before we go to sleep, it's like always on our phone. And sometimes we don't think that we're ignoring our kids, but maybe they see it. Like, he's more interested in that screen than he is in me. So it was like, yeah, it kind of hit me like, whoa, okay, now I have to, like, really think about, you know, when I'm with him, what is he seeing me do? Yeah. And I think that's what, you know, a lot of times they teach us is, okay, the kids are always watching. So they know, you know, one of the things that helped motivate me to help my drinking problem. I have a 13-year-old daughter. So I want to say when she was 7 or 8, you know, that's when I was drinking a lot. And, you know, we're sitting there one time and she makes a joke. Well, all daddy does is this, and made like the beer, like, whoa. Wow. So that was like, yeah. So that hit me like, man, that's not what I want my kids to see me as. So it's like, a lot of times they give you that warning sign, like, this is what I see from you, you know? So, and a lot of times we don't even pay attention. We just, like, you know, look over it. And I think it's important to really, like, when they say things, it's like not to overreact, like really think about what are they trying to, you know, what are they trying to tell us? Yeah. And a lot of times, we just overlook it and don't see it. Wow.
Yeah. I think that by itself is a very powerful perspective that all of us can relate to with kids. And, you know, and it teaches us so much. And I really want to expand on that particular topic in a later conversation, and maybe have a few, you know, people, brothers on and have that conversation, because I think we can all recognize times that we saw that happen, we heard that happen, and the reminders came, but how did we react to it? What impact did it have on us? What was the lesson learned? And because in that moment, you're out of balance. And that child, that universal law is saying, get back in balance, you know, which is a huge help to us when we don't see it. Because, you know, we need that sometime, and we don't know where it's going to come from. And so we don't know what we need, but we will get what we need. And so that's very powerful. So there's two more things that I really want to dive into and have you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I remember you invited us to a course that you were doing, and you were facilitating, I believe, real life skills. That's pretty awesome, because it was very interesting to me, because it was something that was kind of close to what I kind of like doing, is talking about real life skills, you know, emotional intelligence, leadership development, and, you know, career development, stuff like that. So if you could, you know, talk a little bit about your experience, you know, with the program, and, you know, what you think about it, and how that ties into mentorship. Because to me, when I looked at what you were doing with real life skills and mentorship, it's kind of like being a mentor to a group of people that need that information, as well as a wider. You could do a wider net and catch a lot more people that need that as well. But there's a captive audience you're facilitating, but you're really mentoring them. So if you could kind of speak to that.
Yeah. Real life skills. It's a nonprofit organization. But it's what it is. It's like a class. It's 8 different classes, and each class has a different subject, and everything is based on helping you yourself as an individual resurrect lost self-esteem.
Okay.
So that's the main point. Is it's all about thinking and trying to push yourself, outside of your box and to your limits.
Okay.
How it started at San Diego Rescue Mission, and they were teaching a class for like homeless people and, people with drug addictions and things like that. And it's grown to where its curriculum reaches everybody because it can really help anybody. It's pretty much like, it's compiled with a bunch of different quotes from successful people throughout history. And we use those quotes, and then we kind of tie into our own lives or people that we know and try to motivate people to do better in their life. I guess one of the main things that I learned is metacognition, which is a big word. I was like, what the heck is metacognition, right? And it kind of summed up as thinking about what you're thinking about.
Nice.
And how do you train how do you get your train of thought to produce better thoughts and not get into the same way that you've been thinking your whole life. So like each class is kind of designed to give a new thought to you and motivate you to do better.
Wow. Think about what you think about. That right there, man. Wow. When I heard that night that I was there, and I unfortunately was not able to make, the series of meetings, but man, that was so powerful. Man, think about what you think about. And I think I used that at work or something one time. I was like, man, I like that.
Yeah, it hit me. And when they first said metacognition, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a big word. But, when they summed it up, it was like, yeah, you have to think about what you're thinking about. And it sounds weird, but it's like you kind of take yourself out of your mind and focus in on your mind. Like, what is Gary thinking about right now? Yeah. And it's like, if that's not what you want to be thinking about, we have the ability to change our thoughts.
There it is, right there. You have the ability to change your thoughts. And I was doing a class one time, and I reflected on something that Bob Proctor said, and I was getting these little brief quotes, and he would do it like a 6-minute brief every morning. You get it every morning. They were like little reminders. And one of the things he talked about was react versus respond. And that's when you say, think about what you're thinking about. Then to change that cognitive response, do you just react when somebody gets on your nerves, or do you respond? So if you're going to respond, then you're in control. But if you're going to react, then they're in control. Exactly. So you take that moment to think about what you're thinking about, and, you count to 10, you do whatever you got to do before you respond, and you stay in control. And so that's just really powerful. I think that's a really good program. And I hope that, like I said, we see that kind of grow and blossom into something that we're using to empower the community as well. So I see some great value in that. So definitely great stuff. So my last question is,
okay.
Let's see.
What you got for me?
I gotta put a little twist on it or something. So let's say, if you could meet anyone in history that you have respect for or an interest in, who would it be, why, and what color suit would you wear to meet them?
Wow. I mean, it's wow. That's really, really deep. Part of me wants to say I would meet somebody like deep, through my bloodline to know where I really came from. But that would be interesting. But another person, professionally, I think I would want to meet former President Obama.
Okay.
I would wear probably a blue suit, because that's what I was told I look best in the blue suit. So I think I'll rock that, for the photo op. But I would want to meet him because when he became president, it being Black in America, it really made me believe we can be anything. And that was a big motivating factor. And I think I would ask him, dealing with everything you went through to get to the point of becoming president, how, at the hardest times, how did you keep going?
Wow.
What kept you to keep pushing?
Yeah.
So I think that's who I would want to meet.
Man, wow, that's nice. That's nice. I know I saw something online that I guess, was it the Golden State Warriors? I think they instead of meeting, the current president, they said, you know what? If we're going to meet a president, we're going to go meet Obama.
Yeah, and that would be amazing. That would definitely be amazing.
So definitely want to wrap this up with, and that's really a high note, because I love that answer, and hopefully I can continue to come up with something unique for each guest that I have, so the people can maybe get a little more insight, something, a little different coming from somebody that they think they know. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate you, just having a good spirit about it and rolling with it. So I would like to go ahead and close this out and thank our guest tonight, Mr. Gary Harris. He's a facilitator, mentor, community organizer, father, founder, and VP of We Will Rise, and an entrepreneur. My man, we are so pleased that you took the time to join us tonight. Any last words?
Yes. First, thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. For people that don't know, you've been very inspirational and motivational to me in my life. So I definitely appreciate everything you've done. And even this, this is another thing that's going to push me forward as well as yourself. So I appreciate you for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's about service, and, that's something that I believe we have to take action. And it's something that I wanted to do for a long time. I tried to do it, start and stop. One thing that I believe wholeheartedly is I can only affect change for myself and anybody around me. I can't depend on my environment to change me. I have to change myself. And so it was just, whatever I can do to contribute to the good. And when I see you guys doing good, I'm like, how can I help to increase that good? Because our community needs it, and the world needs it. We need better out there. And when you look at the internet and the speed of negative information, we have something that we can impact our local community as well as a national community as well as the international community. So I'm pleased to be part of that, and I thank you and Mike and the advisors for bringing this program to fruition. And we're looking forward to doing great things. So
yes,
thank
sir.
you.
Yes, sir. Thank
Definitely
you.
Appreciate that. So if anybody that's listening, if you want to reach out, you can always on Facebook. You can look up Kings Collective. It is a private group, so just ask to be part of that group, and I'm sure there may be some qualifying questions. If not, we'll throw some of them on there. No, it's all good. We welcome people to come on and see what we got going on, and we do a lot of public, information. Talk a little bit about what we do and what we're doing. But definitely, like I said, if you want to reach Gary, you can get in touch with Gary Harris, email, if you want to put that out there. I would say we will do this. Instead of putting that out there, just in case we don't get the right people doing that, we will rise. If we want to use that email as a way to contact, we will rise sd@gmail.com. If you got any questions, inquiries, If you want to be on the show, that'd be great. We appreciate all comers. So to close it out, there's no cap on your capacity. Remove the limiting beliefs from your learning. When your thoughts are pure and your direction is true, you are unlimited. It starts as a thought and evolves into acquired knowledge. The knowledge, handled properly, is converted into practical applications. Thus, the triple effect from our words and actions. The law of balance. As I speak about the law of balance, here's just a little more insight to that while we close out. We all would like to live a balanced life. However, for most of us, we swing from one polarity to another, making us feel very unbalanced and uncentered. A state of inner balance creates inner peace. When you have achieved this state of inner balance, remember it, use it as a reference point. This will increase your awareness of when you go out of balance so it could be corrected. This is my time for the night. This is our show for the night. We all love to benefit from the energy and the higher frequencies in our life. What we do, what we say, and what we feel govern our lives, seen and unseen. I truly enjoyed our night with Mr. Harris, and I look forward to doing great things together. Thank you all. I appreciate everybody that comes in, everybody that chimed in, everybody that was a part of this. Thank you, Gary. And we're out.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. See y'all next week. Same time, same place.